One fond memory I have of my mother is shopping at Filene's basement. Twice a year, we would go to Filene's basement. It was the first iconic discount store. They didn't have second-rate merchandise, but they would get merchandise from all over the world or the country, things that didn't sell, high-priced things, low-priced things that didn't sell, and they would take it in and they put a sticker on it, and then every so many days it automatically discounted. And there might have been dressing rooms, but no one ever used them, and it would just be this thrush of people, and there'd be bins with all the different things, and people would take off their clothes and just try things on. Once a year they had this amazing wedding gown sale. But anyhow, twice a year my mother would take me. We would go before school in the fall, and I'd get 5 outfits, and we would go again in the spring, and I would get 5 more outfits for spring. But I remember one day, it was a snow day in February. My mother was a teacher, and we both were off school, and we took the bus down. But before we went down to the basement, we were going through the first floor, and there were some women, 3 or 4 women with hats, maybe they had on fur coats, and they were fingering the leather of the pocketbooks on the first floor. And my mother stopped me, and she said, "Do you see those women?" And I looked, and she said, "Their husbands are doctors, and they have nothing better to do with their time than to come here and shop for full-price pocketbooks." That was my mother. She had never met these women. She didn't know. Then after that shopping in Filene's basement, we went to a diner for lunch. And I sat on one side of my mother, then it was my mother, and then there was a woman sitting beside her. She was a secretary at a school, and so she also had the day off. And as my mother was wont to do, instead of talking to me, she struck up a conversation with this woman, and she got her whole life story. It was really sad. The woman's husband had just died. He had been an abusive alcoholic. She didn't like her job at the school. And my mother, she started out by saying, "Oh, the clam chowder, is it good?" Like, she doesn't even eat clam chowder. She kept kosher. And she would just pull the woman in, and then before you knew it, the woman was just telling my mother and unburdening herself. Then, and of course, she didn't talk to me. Then all of a sudden, my mother was done. She just gets up and she takes the check and she says, "Goodbye." And I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, say something, take the woman's number. And the woman was just sitting there looking at her like she had lost her best friend.